A country that tolerates evil means, evil manners, standards of ethics for a generation will be so poisoned that it never will have any good end. Sinclair Lewis, one of the most prolific writers of the 20th century, somehow said something that agreed with George Lincoln Rockwell. It is not the evil itself which is horrifying about our times. It is the way we not only tolerate evil, but have made a cult of positively worshiping weakness, depravity, rottenness, and evil itself. Now, you can look up George Lincoln Rockwell for yourself and Sinclair Lewis and probably scratch your head about why these two would come to the same conclusion. But what if I told you that something is happening right now that is going to shock America in a way that they could have never predicted? I'm sure a lot of you have heard that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk have been tasked by Donald Trump with overseeing this thing called the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, where they're going to go into the government and look for ways to cut waste, save money, and all being businessmen, Trump, Ramaswamy, and Musk, they are going to look for something called return on investment. And what they're going to find is going to make the squad squeal with delight. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are like, wait a minute. Hold on. You covered a lot of ground there. What's going on? What's happening? Well, when you look at things rationally, without any other consideration, there are going to be alliances made that you would have never believed possible. Now, real quick, gratitude, as always. Thank you to everyone who continues to join us over at the Florida Monkey Patreon channel, where it's only one single US dollar per month at the base level, and even less if you sign up for an entire year, and fully refundable first 90 days, no questions asked. Over there we have 4 different levels, 1, 5, 10, and 15. Brand new content up for everybody over the last week or so. Trust me, it's content we can't really get away with talking about here on YouTube. We have to be very circumspect and watch what we say in the land of censorship. And now that Donald Trump has won re-election, the forces, the powers that be at Google and Alphabet and YouTube are going to start to punish truth tellers even worse than they had been. So I ask you humbly, please, if you could help support me over at Patreon, even $1 a month makes a difference. Thank you so much for all of you who already have. Let's get right to it. What are we talking about? The first thing that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to figure out is that there is no real return on investment for the hundreds of billions of dollars that we have sent to Israel over the years. And they're going to recommend stopping and ceasing the financial support. Now, you can give them all sorts of ambassadorial support and moral support, but truly they're going to say, what has America gotten from this? Now, I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. It's the moral and biblical thing to do. You see, they don't have that consideration, an atheist and a Hindu. An atheist and a Hindu don't have that consideration. They're just looking for money to save. Simply based on return on investment. What do they get out of it? What do they get out of it? And there's something I'm going to share with you a little bit later that's going to blow your mind. Foreign aid to Israel, for those of you who are unaware, it is billions and billions of dollars every single year, going all the way back since 1946, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, based on the idea that they are our bulwark in the Middle East, that they are our representation in the Middle East, that we now have a safe place in the Middle East to represent, pay attention here, American values. But we know that American values aren't really the same depending on what American you are. Israel brags about being a safe haven for sodomites and homosexuals in the Middle East. Think I'm making that up? 78% of Jewish people in America voted for Kamala Harris. 78% of Jewish people in America voted for Kamala Harris. Israel presents itself as a haven for the gay community. This is NPR bragging about this. The sun is setting, gay pride flags wave next to the water, same-sex couples kiss and cuddle on the beach. This is Tel Aviv, which the government of Israel is now pushing as one of the most gay-friendly cities in the world, and gay tourism is booming. It's a place you have to go to. Good parties, nice people, beautiful people, and just different from all the other tourist destinations you can go to, says Jörg Grosskopf, a German tourist, who together with his sodomite partner Peter is on their 7th vacation in Israel. And this is a Google AI overview that confirms this. Israel is considered one of the most inclusive countries in the world for the LGBTQ community. They have more protections over there than we have here. So I ask you, again, I asked this in another video, I'm going to ask again, I wonder what the conservative, evangelical, Christian Baptist member of the TBN broadcasting network, Mike Huckabee, is going to figure out when he becomes the ambassador to Israel about Israel. The right-wing, devout, family man, Christian, conservative, when he figures out that 78% of the Jewish community in America voted for Kamala Harris and that Tel Aviv is the gay haven in the Middle East. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at this picture like, wait a minute, what is Patriot Nurse, Ted Cruz, what does this have to... You see, this is the Dallas Jewish Conservatives Conference, and Patriot Nurse had the pleasure of being there, and she is a Jewish person in America who is a conservative, who didn't vote for Kamala Harris, I'm pretty sure. Now, what this picture shows is it actually shows two things that stick out very prominently. Number one, Ted Cruz was in a horse race with Donald Trump back in 2016 for the Republican nomination. And he has a ton of sway, a ton of push, I guess, with the Latin American community. A lot of Latin Americans, even back in 2016, were very, very conservative. Much more likely to support Donald Trump than the vast majority of Jews in America. Now, she is one of the Jews in America who does support Donald Trump. But we need to look at things with a broader view. And those of you who think I'm kidding about this, here's Politics America. 78% of Jews voted for Kamala Harris. 63% of Muslim voters supported Kamala Harris. But as far as Hispanic men, Trump won outright. Trump won outright. So why does the U.S. support Israel? Why does the U.S. support Israel? And here's the key. If you were Vivek Ramaswamy and you were Elon Musk and you had to look at a place to put money that would be a better return on investment, what would be a better return on investment? The 22% of Jews in America that vote for Donald Trump? Or the 57% of Hispanic men who voted for Donald Trump? You know, those evil, terrible, horrible invaders coming across the border that were all going to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that didn't vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? You see, this is going to be the thing that shocks a lot of people. It's going to be the thing that people are going to wonder why we did this. They're going to wonder, was this worth it? People have been saying, well, we need to divorce the idea of supporting Israel from the idea of supporting Ukraine, and we need to put a lot more money at stopping Hispanics from coming into this country from the border. Does that now make sense? Does that now make actual, real sense, given what we've seen in the election? You see, it's a very, very odd thing to show that the Patriot Nurse here in Tennessee, up in Knoxville, as a conservative, has a lot more in common with Hispanic, Spanish origin Ted Cruz than she does with the Jewish people in Israel. As far as values, as far as belief, as far as voting history, as far as the vision for the future of this country, she's Jewish. But she has a lot more in common with Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, who are evangelical Christians, as far as her beliefs and morals go. So I ask again, when Donald Trump decided to pick an evangelical Christian Baptist minister to be the ambassador to Israel, did he not know? Did he not know that Tel Aviv is a hotbed of sodomite activity? And let me go back. It is not the evil itself which is as horrifying about our times as the way we not only tolerate evil but have made a cult of positively worshiping weakness, depravity, rottenness, and evil itself. And countries that tolerate evil means, manners, and standards of ethics for a generation will be so poisoned that they will never have any good end. And without any moral consideration whatsoever, Vivek Ramaswamy, a businessman, and Elon Musk, a businessman, are going to look at this and say, wait a minute, not only does the United States not really get any real return on investment from supporting Israel, they don't even support our values. They don't even support our vision for what we believe is good and true and right. So we need to stop giving money to them immediately. And believe me, the squad is going to be overjoyed. Now, they're going to want to take money away from Israel, not for the reason that these people would, but they're going to say, well, for whatever reason they want to, okay. That's fine. And so the irony of all irony is that you're going to see this group of people say, you know what? We need to take money away from Israel. We have no business supporting Israel, for their own reasons, for their own beliefs, which are entirely different from these people's beliefs. And the hard thing about this, the most difficult thing about this, is that the Baptist minister, conservative Christian from the TBN network is going to say, you know what? I have my own reasons, but given that 78% of Jews in America voted for Kamala Harris, how can we support this? How can we support this knowing that they are so unbelievably pro-leftist, pro-gay, pro-homosexual? How can we continue to support this? Even the leader of Saudi Arabia has come out now and called what Israel is doing a genocide, being one of our allies. If those of you out there who haven't signed up for the Florida Maquis Patreon channel believe that psychological operations isn't a thing, it's a thing, because I'm sure a lot of people right now are scratching their heads in a state of cognitive dissonance that they cannot rationalize. The understanding that, gosh, I believe in the Patriot Nurse. She's a great supporter of conservative values and gun rights, but she's a Jew, but 78% of Jews voted for Kamala Harris. That means amongst Jews, she's an incredible minority. So, what do I think about that? And the idea of taking money away from Israel seems, like that might be a good idea to save money, but I don't want to be seen as agreeing with the squad, because they would also definitely want to see money taken away from Israel. PsyOps is a thing. Join us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. Love to have you. It's what we talk about over there. Having a command of your mind and understanding the real and the rational when you subtract the emotional. Because any support Israel would have had for this would have been all based on emotion. And any enemies you might have perceived as coming across the border from devout Christian South America, Central America, Mexico, wherever the hell ever, these people were allies. These people were allies. Now, were amongst them dotted some folks that were not quite so savory? That's true. And you're going to watch Fox News blow them up as if they're the representative group. But you haven't heard Fox News yet report that 78% of Jews voted for Kamala Harris, have you? You haven't heard that, have you? Nobody on Fox News, nobody on CNN has reported this. You've only heard it here. Seems like an odd thing after October 7, 2023, that 78% of Jews still support Kamala Harris. And given that we know that Donald Trump won Latino men outright and took a huge percentage of Latino women and won counties in Texas that a Republican has never won before based on Latino representation, could it possibly be that you have been misled about the nature of the people coming across the border by watching Fox News all day? I will leave it there. Interesting times we live in. When you put an atheist and a Hindu, and the reason I call him an atheist is that he has a plan that he believes he can implant a chip into people's brains that make them no longer see their faith life as anything important. He believes it's a mental dysphoria, believing in God, having a faith life, and he believes he can manipulate people's brains with chips and AI to keep them from being distracted from what's important in life by their religion. That's what Elon Musk wants to do. And Vivek Ramaswamy, being a Hindu, there's really no dog in the hunt when it comes between Christians and Jews. So it's just going to come down to money. The love of it, the root of all evil. Remember? The Bible? Anyway. Department of Government Efficiency. Keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on it. Join us on Patreon. God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.